Welcome back to another edition of the Forts Athletics Life and Coaching Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Charles Inferno. We're at Forts Athletics. We equip coaches and athletes with the tools they seek out in order to achieve their unique and specific goals. It is Monday, May 2nd, 2022. Season's just about over, my friends. We have conference championships coming up this Saturday and Sunday. We have a few athletes qualified for regionals, and then hopefully we get to go to Spire for D3 Outdoor Nationals in about 3.5 weeks. But before we get there, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who has been listening and engaging with our content video series. I really appreciate it. It's great to get feedback from other individuals, excuse me, on what they like, don't like, what helps them, what doesn't help them. So it's really cool, and I appreciate it. And if you continue having questions about anything, please feel free to send an email or check out the website and drop a comment there. It's really cool to engage with others. And there was a lot of engagement this weekend. We were at a meet at the University of Rochester, pretty much all day throwing, which was great because the weather was beautiful. It was like in the upper 50s, not a cloud in the sky, really good competition, and a nice tune-up meet before the conference championships. And I say tune-up meet because, in all honesty and reality, really, performances this past weekend, they were great. Things got a little dicey early in the morning when we went through some snafus with discus, as far as just like some cues and things that we've been working on that we tried to incorporate and put to fruition in this meet, and it didn't go as planned, but that was really the idea from the get-go, was to try and iron out some of these other nuances that we've been working on in practice, because it was a scored meet, but if athletes threw really well, that was really great, and if they didn't, no big deal. We just have another meet to build towards, which on the importance scale is probably top priority, just because it's our conference and we're home, and it's really going to be hopefully a great opportunity for our athletes to cash in all those marbles that we've been depositing every week. We started our little marble activity with 21 marbles. Well, let's see here, at the end of the fall semester, and we are down to 1 marble. So a lot of training sessions, a lot of lifting, lots of reps, lots of throws. Really are coming down to home meet for our athletes. But the U of R, like I said, discus got off to a little bit of a shaky start. Not so much because the distances maybe weren't where we thought that they would be, but in that little bit of a higher stress situation with really good competitors competing, we thought a little bit more, I don't know what the right word is, just the atmosphere, the other competitors would have kind of jacked it up a little bit, but we had, Nicole threw 31 and change, which was really good, so she's on the upswing. James, we had, maybe not quite where we thought we would be at this point in the season, but that's okay. Like I said, you find the little wins in everything, and if you've listened to me long enough, I try and there's always something positive that comes out of a meet. There's always something positive that comes out of a competition. If it goes really well, then you chalk that up to being maybe the positive. And if it doesn't go so well, really they could always go much worse. And then Dylan won at 48-40. So every meet that he's competed in, he's gone over 48 meters, which is awesome. Last year he had, I think, like two meets where he went 46 meters. So his average this year is hovering right around like 49 meters, which is really exciting because not so much on an off day, but maybe not on his best performance. He's still about 95% of his PR and still able to throw 48 meters and do really well for himself. Shot put, similar, like we got things going. That was the first event. And we're just kind of hovering around where we've been competing basically all season. And there was something that happened about halfway through the meet where I was talking to another coach about like intensity and expectations. And I love talking about this stuff with other coaches because I don't really get a chance to do that too often. Besides the coaches that I interact with here on these videos, there really isn't much besides that. The podcast is great, get to interview and talk to one person at a time, but really to have the ear of other coaches and kind of bounce ideas off of each other. I really appreciate that, and I tell them as such too every meet. I appreciate their time, the conversation. More often than not, they're athletes that either I competed with or against, or that we've just been coaching against with each other for a long period of time. But we were talking about intensity and how to like get amped up a little bit, and as the day progressed, you could just tell that the athletes just didn't seem to be as enthusiastic about what was happening until one athlete in particular, the men's hammer, basically PR'd out of his mind, and that kind of like lit a fuse for everybody else in the competition. So the men's hammer finished really well with, let me see, 3 guys over 56 meters, which I haven't seen a competition like that since actually D3 Nationals. Well, we went with Lewis in 2016. Dylan had a PR, 52.80 and change, which is over a meter PR. Let's see, James had a PR also. James threw 35 and change, so he PR'd by about half a meter. And then Nicole wrapped up the competition throwing 42.47, which is a 3 meter PR, like a full 3 meter PR. One round, or flight 1, and then waited it out. And unfortunately was beat out by 12 centimeters to make the finals. So that one little moment, that one spark by a different athlete in the competition really got everybody pretty fired up. But there's a little bit to say about trying to find your internal motivation. I guess, I don't know if it's motivation is the right word, but like some type of validation in regards to like what gets you going in competition. Standing around, like I said, we were there probably 9 hours. So Nicole got things started right at let's see, 10 a.m. and she took her last hammer throw at around 6 o'clock. So we'd been there for a long time, and something that we're going to work on this week as far as trying to move forward is the optimal state of arousal and where is the happy medium for our individuals. Because it's okay to come out flat. Maybe you're not as amped up at 10 a.m. But as the day progresses, there is a little bit to say about what everybody can do individually to just get a little bit more excited and kind of prepared to compete. But otherwise, three personal bests in the hammer, another school record. Nicole moves up to number 3 all time, so she is basically all over our indoor and outdoor top 10 lists in hammer, weight, shot put, indoor and outdoor, which is really cool to see. That a coming in main event discus thrower is starting to quietly develop into a pretty good hammer thrower and just a much better, more efficient discus thrower. But it was a good, like I said, a good competition all around. Athletes competed really well. I'm really happy. It was a good day all around. So we got practice today, tomorrow, Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday, a little pre-meet on Saturday, or I'm sorry, pre-meet on Friday because we compete Saturday, Sunday. So Saturday is going to be hammer discus, and Sunday is the shot put competition. So we'll get things going. There are, I would say, two best throwing events as far as the squad goes with discus and hammer, and then we'll close out the weekend with the shot put. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Force Athletics Life and Coaching Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Charles Inferna. Have a great day.